Hi guys, welcome to today's session, and today we are going to discuss about data free flow with trust, DFFT concept. And in this session, first we'll see what is DFFT, and secondly we'll see Osaka Declaration on Digital Economy, and then we'll see why India refused to sign Osaka Declaration, and finally we'll see the issues with India related with this particular data free flow with trust. So that's how I plan this lesson. Let's now start. So guys, data free flow with trust aims to eliminate restrictions on cross-border transfer of information by electronic means, which includes personal information and storing data in foreign servers for productivity, innovation, and sustainable development. So this is a more liberal framework which eliminate restrictions on cross-border transfer of information by electronic means. So that is the basic idea. It also stresses on the importance of addressing challenges such as security, data protection, intellectual property that otherwise mark public trust in digital technologies. And this was in news because India recently refused to become a signatory to the Osaka Declaration on Digital Economy, which proposes the concept of data free flow with trust. So that was in news. That's why this particular topic is selected. Now we will see about this Osaka Declaration on Digital Economy. The declaration was signed at the sidelines of G20 summit in 2019 by some G20 leaders and other countries who are currently participating in the informal plurilateral negotiations on e-commerce at the World Trade Organization. And it announced the launch of Osaka Track, which is a process that aims to intensify efforts on international rule making on digital economy, especially on data flows and e-commerce, while promoting enhanced protections for intellectual property, personal information, and cybersecurity. So that is Osaka Track, which is a new process which intensify efforts on international rulemaking on digital economy. And Osaka Track is inspired on the idea of DFFT, that is data free flow with trust. And this idea was proposed by Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe at World Economic Forum 2019 meet. And as we said, this DFFT aims to eliminate restrictions on cross-border data flows, and this was articulated by Japan and also supported by US and other developed countries. So it is from this Osaka Declaration India refused to become a signatory, and we will now see why India refused to sign this proposal. So India refused to sign this proposal because it violates India's policy of data localization. Data localization is one idea that we pursue, and this data localization is also a major trade related dispute between India and the US. Recently, the Reserve Bank of India has come out with a rule which stipulate that e-commerce companies operating in India are required to keep the transaction data in India. So that is the concept of data localization. Even if the transaction takes place outside the country, the companies are required to delete the same and keep the data in India within 24 hours of such transactions. So thus the purpose of India's this rule is to protect the data of Indian citizens, which can be misused by external e-commerce companies. The issue of privacy of data of customers is also involved, and many of the US companies like Visa, Amazon, MasterCard are affected by India's data localization policy. The US has been opposing India's policy for some time, but India has refused to oblige the US. Now the proposal moved by Japan during the G20 summit violates India's data localization policy, as the idea of data free flow with trust militates against India's policy, and the US and Japan tried to circumvent Indian policy by bringing the new proposal of digital economy at G20 summit. But India understood the full implications of Japan's idea and hence refused to endorse. Japanese proposal on digital economy. So that was the reason behind why India refused to become a signatory of this Osaka Declaration. Now we'll particularly see the issues with India related with this DFFT. So for India, there is a lack of clarity with the concept of DFFT, which is neither well understood nor is comprehensive enough in the legislation of many countries. And also we need to preserve the policy space of developing countries. India, like many other developing countries, is still in the phase of preparing a legal and regulatory framework for its data protection and e-commerce law. So there are several issues going on in our country itself. So that is also an issue for us. And there is another issue is implications on inequitable access of data. That is, the existing regulations on which DFFT is sought to be premised, such as uninhibited cross-border flow of data, may be inadequate to address India's concern on data access and could further aggravate the digital divide between the countries. And another issue is the apprehensions of a discussion outside World Trade Organization. The Osaka track could undermine multilateral and consensus-based talks on e-commerce taking place under WTO Work Program on Electronic Commerce. And the WTO Work Program on Electronic Commerce covers issues related to trade arising from global e-commerce. So there is apprehensions over these discussions outside the WTO by the implementation of DFFT. And another issue is impact on national policies and law. That is, India finds data localization significant on the ground of our national security to prevent foreign surveillance and attacks, and India's data localization rules could be undermined by DFFT. So that is an issue for us. So this is the basic idea and the issues with regard to DFFT. This is a recent development in the global economy. So this can be asked in this year's mains also, a very important topic. So please study this. That's all for today, guys. We'll meet tomorrow with another topic. Thank you for watching this lesson.